My name is William, and I am a Polish Jew, and I survived the Holocaust. My name is Dr. William Samuelson, and I was born in Poland, in a small town on the border of Germany, which was called Sosnowiec in Upper Silesia. And I spent some of the time of my youth with my grandparents in a town that was called Piotrków. And this is where the war has met with me. And I was almost 10 years old when the war began in 1939, September 1, which disrupted my youth, my childhood. The first thing that the Germans act was about a half an hour bombardment of the town, the little town Piotrków. And it was very sad because I have never thought in my childhood, never thought about death. And here I was almost 10 years old, and I met death personally. Everywhere I looked, there was death. And all of the Jewish people who were taken into the ghetto, it was surrounded by barbed wire, and it was overnight. We lost our freedom overnight. It was a traumatic experience I'm still living it. I'm still looking at it as it happened. My mother was very young. My mother was about 32 years old, and she could have gone to the right. And in fact, one of the sentries went up to her and said, throw away this, he was in German, he said, schmeiß doch dem Abfall weg, throw away this trash, and pointed at my little sister. But she did not. And the last time that we saw her, after saying goodbye, she was climbing up into the freight car. My brother and I were transported on a transport to a major concentration camp called Buchenwald. On the arrival, we had to be what they called disinfected. We thought we were walking into a gas chamber, but it wasn't. Cold water came down from shower heads, and we were then all the hair was shaved off, and then we received uniforms that were previously worn by inmates who had died already. Well, one time, and I want to tell you that we didn't have names. They didn't call us by names. They called us by numbers. We didn't have numbers on our arms tattooed because the only camp that had those tattoos was Oświęcim, Auschwitz. But we had a number on our jacket, the one that we have inherited from someone else that had that jacket before. So they called my number because I was already walking death, really. And I came to the office. The sentry took me to the office of the supervisor, and the supervisor looked at me and I looked at him, and somehow we had some chemistry. I knew that he is a kind man, looking into his eyes, and he showed me a bucket in the corner of the office and a mop, and he told me to mop the office. And while I was mopping it, I saw his jacket, a leather jacket. Now, he was the Gestapo. He was an officer of the Gestapo. That is as high as you can get in the party, in the Nazi party. And in one of his pockets, the jacket was hung on a coat rack, and one of the jacket, there was a newspaper was protruding of it, and since we had no contact with the outside world, the only contact we had, the only news we had was gossip. But this one was a newspaper, a German newspaper, so I decided to steal it and put it under my shirt, under my jacket, and then we would read it in the barracks, my brother and some friends, and we would know what is going on outside. Because we thought at that time, that Germany was invincible. Germany was so powerful that many of us wanted to be a Nazi, really. We wished that we could be a Nazi. Well, in that paper, that was a wrapping for a sandwich. And I smelled the sandwich. I opened the paper, took the sandwich, and devoured it right there. I wanted to die with a full stomach, really, because I thought he would kill me. He came back, he looked at it, and looked around, and he said, "You did good, Jew, very good. Come back tomorrow." And I came back to the office to mop the floor every day for a month and a few days until the Allies bombed the factory. And during that time, I had a sandwich and a newspaper in his pocket. And I don't even know his name. But he is one of the angels that I say that without those people we could not have survived. My camp was liberated by the Americans, and my brother and I, we were hiding under a bed, under a bunk, and the man who came into the barrack and searched the barrack was a huge black man, and he was a wonderful person. He told us to come up from under the bed, under the bunk, and he carried both my brother and myself. We both weighed. I weighed 62 pounds, and my brother 64 pounds. We were weighing as much as a big turkey, and he carried us to an ambulance, an American military ambulance, and we were examined by a doctor, American doctor, a military doctor, a captain, and he put us against the windows in a tent. There were windows, and he put us against the windows because there was no X-ray available, and he inspected our skeleton, and he would tell us that we have all the bones intact, and that was good. And then they found a hospital, a civilian hospital, in a small town called Borna. And we spent about six to 7 months to recover, to get back to almost normal. However, the trauma that we carried in our head did not recover very well. We were traumatized to the point that we hated everyone. We hated not only the Germans, we hated the society, the world society, because we considered ourselves having been abandoned by everybody. Nobody spoke for us. I went back to my brother, and I visited I saw my father, and my father didn't recognize me, and for the first time I saw my father weep when I told him, "Father, don't you recognize me? I am your son." I want you to know that when people ask me who liberated you. I always tell them, the Americans liberated me physically, by my body, but my soul was liberated by my tutor. Her name was Paula Kaiser, and she was an angel. Today I am a retired professor emeritus of 44 years of teaching colleges and universities. And I decided to be a writer, a full-time writer. Up to date, I have written 29 books. This is the 29th book, and it speaks to the perpetrators of the Holocaust and their victims. It is a book that touches on genocide of the 20th century. Today I live in Boerne, Texas. I have 7 children, and I am a very happy person.